One thing I've noticed in the gaming industry is that whilst there's many companies that actively interact with the community and they listen to them and they build the game with the community. For example, if you look at, say, Grid Autosport, the amount of kind of information they provide the consumers, the amount of fan feedback they take, you go on the Grid Autosport forums on Steam and there's this developer that's always commenting and replying to anything you put in, etc. Taking into account fan feedback, not sugarcoating anything, just literally saying things as they are. Like, another example is Capcom, for example, when they do Ultra Street Fighter 4. Ultra Street Fighter 4 is pretty much all created for the fans, by the fans. The only exception is DiCaprio, the fifth character, but everything else was just pretty much fan feedback. You know, the whole version, the whole online training, this, that, the other, the balance changes, these were all taken into account in the community, and then they said, like, if you go on the balance changes, oh yes, this is what we did that was wrong, this is what we did that was right, etc. In Arcade Edition, this character was too weak or too strong for this reason. They basically don't try and say, oh yes, it was still an amazing game, but like, yeah.
One of the best examples of this was at the Call of Duty talk on E3. The head of Call of Duty decided that he was going to go, oh yes, we made a really good game in Modern Warfare 3, it was really good looking.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
What are you talking about?
When they're saying Ghost, this is the best Call of Duty we've ever made, we're going for something totally different. It's easy for us to do Modern Warfare 4, but we're going for a totally different Call of Duty. It's like, it's not totally different. They're saying, oh, the dog in Call of Duty Ghost is a character you really care about, and they're going on about how, oh yes, the facial detail is much improved over Modern Warfare 3. If you look at Modern Warfare 3 dogs, which was class leading graphics at the time, and I'm like, no, it wasn't. Stop trying to bullshit.
If you want to go and look at class leading graphics, go and look at an exclusive. Go and look at Gears of War 1. Go and look at Uncharted 2 or 3. Go and look at something like Killzone and get your actual stuff together.
The point
you
is,
cannot claim that they were class-leading graphics, because they bloody weren't.
You can cheat yourself. You can't, like...
Crysis shits on you, Call of Duty.
Yeah. It's just, how can you lie blatantly to people's face? It's like, you are not winning anyone over. It's not like the people that are watching have never played a video game in their life, or that's so out of touch with the industry. No, they've been there. It's not like Modern Warfare 3 was the first game they ever played. So, why do you try and bullshit?
Do you expect, honestly, Activision, that someone watching E3 is not going to have a knowledge of what Call of Duty is and has been and where it is now? No. The vast majority of people that watch E3 have a very good knowledge, or at least a decent enough knowledge of the gaming industry or the actual games that you're talking about, especially something as massive as Call of Duty. So you can't pussyfoot around the point.
Exactly.
You have to be honest, and you cannot dick around with words, especially when you're as big as Call of Duty. You just can't do it. So don't lie to so many people and try and say, oh, well, no, you're not. You can say, we were very happy with the state that the game was in. We thought it was a good-looking game, and that it may take on some of the big contenders. But you cannot say class-leading graphics. On what basis were you doing this?
You can white lie, but you can't lie. And this is the thing. Like, this is why I respect companies like Capcom and Codemasters that actually take into account what the fans want and what they did right. They acknowledge their weaknesses, because nowadays it's so easy to get feedback on your work. I mean, you go on you go on Steam, you can see reviews for on the front page. You go on Metacritic, you can see critic reviews, user reviews. You can go on the game's forums, you can see feedback. There's a lot of this, and this is how early access games work. They're just built like with community feedback in mind. So nowadays, it's a lot better to interact with the community, find out what your fans want, and build the game around that. You're building up a loyal fan base, and you're making the game that people want to make, and you're not spending money on things that people don't really care about.
I mean, this is kind of backed up by... I'm currently following the game development of a Kickstarter game called Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is meant to come out at the end of 2015. Totally crowdfunded, apart from $1 million from a sole investor who's interested in the game. And every single step that they have done a video diary of. They have said, oh, well, we've done this for this reason. And then people have said, oh, are you going to have horses? Have you considered that other games don't have good horse physics and the fact that travelling is a pain in the ass in most RPGs? And they're like, oh, okay, so we'll get proper horse mocap, we'll get proper this, that and the other. We'll make it fun to actually do, but also realistic so that you're doing this. People have put money into it. And the developer isn't kind of going, oh, no, you've given us your money now, we're going to make the game that we want to make. What they're doing is, they've said, right, okay, we've looked at the combat in other RPGs, we didn't like it, do you agree with us? And then a lot of people have gone, no, it is very boring, very dull, very just mash the mouse and it'll do it. Whereas they've said, no, we want to make a combat which is a bit like Demon Souls, where you can't just spam and you have a stamina, and the attacks actually are different, and they do look real. And they've done it. They haven't sugarcoated it. They have done exactly what they've set out to do, and they've conferred with the community, and the community's then responded and said, oh, could you just tweak it a little bit in this way, and said, give us a month, we'll come back, we'll prove that we've done it in a video. And they have. And I'm like, this is how it should be. I'm not saying that every single company can do it, but most companies should at least try and do it whenever possible.
So the reason I decided to do this video is because of one game, and that one game is Grand Theft Auto 5. And I'm a huge Grand Theft Auto fan. They're my favourite games. And when I heard that GTA 5 is not coming to PC, and this petition is just, I watched this petition climb in signatures. I signed it myself like many times. And Rockstar just did not give any word on it whatsoever. And I was just thinking, why? Why are they doing this? And then I thought back to GTA 4. Now, GTA 4, this was a game that came out, that was already delayed, right? And it came out in December 2008 for PC, which was like 6 months after the console release dates. And this game was really buggy. Like, it was horribly optimized. The system requirements were just way off what you actually needed to run the game. And they really did a horrible optimization. The game was very glitchy on PC. Even I played the game like way after it was released on the PC, I mean. And it was still very glitchy. I mean, I had problems running it as well. And this is a game this was like the highest rated video game of all time.
With the highest budget ever.
Yeah, this was at the time. This is a $100 million game. This has got 98 on Metacritic. And I'm thinking, okay, so this game's got to be amazing, right? And yet it runs like crap on PC. And I'm just thinking, why is that? This is the one platform you'd think they'd get it right, because GTA on PC was actually very popular. It's always been better on PC, if you ask me. I tried playing GTA 3 or Vice City on the PS2, or with them controls really crappy and clunky. I mean, I just can't imagine it. And so the popularity of GTA on PC, especially because of the mods, like you had the realism mod in Vice City, you had the multiplayer in San Andreas and Hot Coffee and stuff, and you also have like GTA 3, man. It's so easy to mod. You can literally change the weapon properties in the text file and stuff. So like, this is a game that was really mod friendly. Many websites like dedicated to, distributing these mods and stuff. And you could do this with a game legitimately. So this had a huge following. And when Rockstar released GTA 4, not only was it a horrible game for the PC compared to the console versions, it also came with Games for Windows Live, the one thing all PC gamers hate. I've personally never had any problems with it, but the frustration came in the fact that This DRM, one, it was very obtrusive. Two, you actually need to enter the game code like twice to get it to work, and the DRM was so much more convoluted. It was unlike other games that ran on Games for Windows Live.
Being a console gamer, I just listen to that point and just think, you are fucking insane. There's nothing on console where you have to insert 2 codes. Never mind 1 code. 2
it's like
codes.
You sign up with like Rockstar Social Club to play the game. I mean, but come on, this bullshit.
I insert disc, I press X, and game launches.
Yeah! Like, I bought the game on Steam and I still have to go through this bollocks. Anyway, once you get the game working, which a lot of people didn't even get to that stage, and you manage to run it, which again is a miracle, and you play it and you play without any problems,
which again is a miracle.
Yes, and then you want to think, okay, so what's GA known for? Well, this game, it's no San Andreas, is it? It's not like I've got loads to do. It's basically GTA 3 on another game engine. All you can do is pretty much the story. Then, like, you can do a few cop missions. That's the only thing. There's no side missions. There's nothing extra to add any playtime. Combined with the fact that the multiplayer is just dead on PC, no one plays the online. The online wasn't that good anyway. And Games for Windows Live matchmaking, come on, it's not even that good. So you want to add mods. This is the one game that needs mods, especially as it's on a next-gen game engine as well. You'd think, wow, you could do some amazing stuff, right? And then just Games for Windows Live comes and says, fuck you, community, no mods for you. So what actually is ironic is that this is one of those games that is got loads of mods for it. You can go on YouTube, you'll see millions of views for like better graphics mods, like the ice enhancer, like people modifying the skins, the characters, even parts of the map, the cars, etc. This game has got loads of mods, loads of views, loads of people like it for the mods. And in order to install the mods, you have to remove Games for Windows Live, right? Which is a pain in the ass to do. So what did most people do? And the game was overpriced anyway on PC. So what did most people do? They torrented the game. They pirated the game. This is a very highly pirated game. And Rockstar's excuse is probably, we didn't bring GTA 5 to PC because loads of people pirated it. Yeah, I wonder why. Because you're a fucking load of dicks, right? All you're doing is just saying, we don't care about you PC gamers. We don't want your money, even though you practically add value to our own games. If you look at something like The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, that game is like 4th most played on Steam, 5th most played, just in the top most played games on Steam daily, even in 2014. This game was released in 2011. Why? Why do you go on the community hub for that and see people with like 2,000, 3,000 hours playtime on Skyrim? Because of the mods, because of Steam Workshop integration. That game's community is still alive, that game still sells on Steam, and it's all because they interact with the community. They have official support for these mods. They don't like just say, oh no, we're going to have this convoluted DRM, we're not going to tell you when it's coming to PC, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that, we're not going to do the other. Well, you're only hurting yourself, Rockstar, because what's happened is people have pirated the game, people and now you just come out with this stealth launch of GTA 5 on PC announcement, like at the Sony conference, and like they say, oh, it's out for PS4, and then you don't say anything about PC or Xbox One. People just have to dig for that information. Come on, this is a huge announcement. This is, people have been waiting for this game. This is like, how many people have petitioned for this? How many fans have you just screwed over by just saying, by not saying anything about it? Why do you have to be so corporate?
Now, basically, the way that I look at it is the fact that companies like Rockstar, in this case, have been forced to go corporate and not do anything, even though there has been this petition and there has been everything around it, and they've kind of not answered any questions and so on and so forth, because Sony seem to have, or at least this is my theory, that they've probably paid Rockstar to say nothing, to do absolutely jack shit with the community so that they can have it at their conference, which doesn't surprise me, bearing in mind they've had this relationship with Sony for ever, really. They've had they've had a massive relationship with the PS2.
Yeah, they had the best-selling games on the PS2.
And they've always had this kind of relationship with every single game. There's always been some kind of support to
Rockstar,
Sony.
yeah, Rockstar have always like GA4 was like best on PS3, right? The thing is, my complaint is that I don't think that's the case, because why would Sony pay so much to Rockstar when, if you think of how many more sales GA5 could have got on PC if they've launched on PC at launch, it would have been huge. Why would Sony pay Rockstar the difference between the actual PC sales that they could have got if they put it on PC from launch, just to say, oh yes, GTA 5 is coming to PS4, and then, like, I don't know, a couple of minutes later you'll find out, oh yeah, it's coming to Xbox One and PC as well. So why would they pay for that privilege in the first place?
See, it does seem a strange thing to do, and that's why I kind of made the point, just for continuity, really. But I kind of think that there always has to be an underlying reason. However, the fact that we don't know the underlying reason shows the fact that Sony and Microsoft are being far too corporate. Yeah. And they should have just said, well, there is going to be an announcement, but we're not going to tell you there's going to be an announcement, we'll just do it when it's ready.
Yeah.
But they haven't even done that. They wait until E3, because everything has to be done at E3, apparently, and then you go and do it, and then you're like, oh, okay, it's coming out for PS4. You see, what I think would have been more effective is if they'd said, it's coming for PS4 and PC at the Sony conference, and then said that it's, like, forget about the Xbox One, right? I'm not saying that it's not coming. Sony are going to manage to actually convince Microsoft not to have it. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm saying is, if Sony had taken advantage and said, oh, okay, it's coming for PS4 and PC, and you could have cross-platform or cross-save, they would have got so much, because PC gamers have been ranting about it for a year or so since the game's launch. If you can, like, grab the PC community, which Sony really at the moment have got that kind of driving force with the community with the PS4. If you can grab the PC market off Microsoft, at least one game at a time. I mean,
exactly.
GTA5 is a good game to start off with.
Yeah, especially as Microsoft don't seem to give a shit about PC gamers nowadays.
I mean, they
with
always
the shutdown of games for Windows Live.
They always say, like they said recently in a talk, I think Phil Spencer said, "Oh, we're going to care about PC gaming," and that's all he ever said. He didn't say, "Oh, well, we're going to partner with Steam, or we're going to have cross-platform or anything."
It's like,
it was just, we're going to say that we care, but actually we're not going to do anything.
Microsoft are very corporate in this regard as well. It's not just Rockstar, because Rockstar, to their credit, when they say make a game trailers, I'm not saying they don't make good games. They do make high quality games, big budget games. They make very good game trailers that kind of don't pussyfoot around the main point. They actually get across what the game's about. So I respect them in that regard. But like Microsoft, for example, they seem to really not care about. They seem to be so out of touch. Like with Windows 8 originally, I mean, Gabe Newell and Marcus Pearson, they all criticized Windows 8 for being too kind of restricting. It's not good for PC gaming, etc. Games for Windows Live, that's definitely not good. Age of Mythology, the extended edition, that remake with DirectX 11, that's like so expensive on Steam, and it's all because of Microsoft wanting to have a higher price. And you just look at all these other games that came out that are far newer, right, that are actually brand new games, and you're just like £3 for this game, and then you see Age of Mythology for like £15, and that's like with a 40% discount. You just think, are you off your head? You are so out of touch with the community. In what way is charging the same price, if not more, than like a game that came out last year, justifiable for a 12-year-old game?
So overall, we would like to see developers and game platform holders, all of them, and the actual community, be more open. Stop hiding shit that you don't need to. Just step outside and say it. Just literally, if you have a game and you want to talk about it, do what Criterion are doing with their new IP, and literally say, we have this idea, do you like it? If so, help us do it. And then that works great. It helps everyone. Helps the developers. They can do what they want. It makes a better game. The community are happy. It's going to get more sales, so they'll get a better return. and then it's better for something like Sony and Microsoft because they get more sales on their platform. It means they'll sell more consoles. You get the gist. Basically, stop having so much corporate talk and so much hiding away, and just communicate what you want. And then the community will do exactly the same. The community can only respond to what they're aware of. So you let us know, we'll let you know. That's how it works.